Hey guys, so today we are going to go over solving quadratic equations when they have an a coefficient that is greater than 1. So far, all the quadratics we've been working with, when we've been factoring them at least, they've had an a coefficient that is just 1. So now we're going to learn how to factor it when it's greater than 1. So the method I'm going to teach you is kind of a trick method. It's one I like a lot. It works. It's quicker and I feel like easier to understand than the other methods that are usually taught in school. So let's go ahead. On your maze sheet that you should have picked up, we're going to do question number 2 because the first question doesn't have an a coefficient that's greater than 1. So we're going to skip ahead to 2. It is 6x squared plus 5x plus 1 equals 0. So when you're doing these, if it's set up and it's not already equal to 0, you're going to have to move stuff around, make sure everything's on the same side, and the equation is set equal to 0 before we can solve. So this one is set equal to 0. So let's go ahead and start. So, okay, my a coefficient, it's greater than 1. I'm not used to factoring with that. So what am I going to do? Well, this is my little trick I'll show you. We're going to take this a coefficient of 6. We are going to multiply it by the c value, which right now is 1. So I'm going to multiply by 6. And then I'm going to end up with a positive 6, right? Let me move this up. So now after I do that, I'm not going to write the 6 again when I rewrite this. It's going to be over here. I'm going to say x squared plus 5x plus 6 now that I have multiplied it. So now, and we can set it equal to 0. Now, this looks more familiar, right? This is something we can factor. Well, what factors would we use? Well, we've got to add up to 5, and we've got to multiply to 6. So off top of my head, I'm going to say 3 and 2, right? If I do, let's set it up, x, and they have to both be positive, so x plus something, x plus something, right? So if I do 3 and 2, well, 3 times 2 equals 6. And if we check it, let's multiply it out. We've got x squared plus 3x, sorry, I meant to do this, plus 2x plus 6. Add those together, and I get my 5x, right? So now I have these. Let's go ahead, now that we multiplied it out, I'm going to rewrite them so that we can finish this and find the solutions. It was x plus 3, x plus 2. Well, now remember our 6 from our a coefficient? We are going to divide this and this by 6. So now I've got x plus 3 over 6, x plus 2 over 6. Next, we are going to solve for x. Now, no, we haven't done this as much. This was something we did in the packet, though. This is where we're going to find our solutions, our zeros. So we can reduce it first. So, well, 3 over 6, 1/2, right? 2 over 6, 1/3. So I have x plus 1/2 equals 0. We have to set it to 0 to solve for the x. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm just going to subtract 1/2 from both sides. So it's an equation. I end up with this one, x equals negative 1/2. That is my first solution. For my other solution, now I got to do the x plus 1/3, right? So x plus 1/3 equals 0. Subtract 1/3 from both sides. I have x equals negative 1/3. That is my other solution, my other 0. So these two are where your parabola is going to cross the x-axis, right? A negative 1/2 and negative 1/3, those are your x coordinates. So this is, and negative 1/2 and negative 1/3 should be one of the answers on your main sheet. So that one's given for you. So we have all of that work. Let's do one more example so you guys can get used to it. I'm just going to move this over. Let's do another example. I'm going to do 8x squared plus 2x minus 15. So this is not one that I know of. This one I just used. It's not on the main sheet that I know of. It's just an example this time. So go ahead and follow along. I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. My a coefficient is 8. I can't factor it like that, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to multiply that 8 by this negative 15 times 8. Well, 8 times negative 15 gets us a negative 120. So I'm going to rewrite it. I'm not going to put that 8 in front of my x squared. I'm going to do x squared plus 2x minus 120 now. Okay, so now I can factor this. This is factorable. What two numbers can we use? We got to add up to 2, but multiply to negative 120. So we're going to be looking at a negative and a positive in my factor, right? We're going to have x minus something, x plus something. So you can go through all the factors of 120 to find ones that work. Obviously, I already did it. It's 10 and 12. So if you do negative 10 and a positive 12, well, that adds up to positive 2, right? If I do negative 10 times 12, I get a negative 120. So this will work. I'm not going to multiply it all out again. You guys can do that to check, but that's our factors. So let's go ahead and do that other trick. We are going to now bring back that 8. We have to divide the factors by 8 now. That was our a coefficient. Okay, so now I have negative 10 over 8 and positive 12 over 8. Let's go ahead and reduce it and rewrite it. So I'm going to have x minus, what's 10 divided by 8? I'm going to have 5 over 4. And I'm going to have x plus a 3 over 2. All right, so let's move over some more. Okay, so now what do I do? Well, I got to set it equal to 0. I'm going to solve for x. So let's set this equal to 0. X minus 5/4 equals 0. Well, since it's an equation, I'm going to get x by itself. I'm going to add 5/4 to both sides. Okay, so my first solution, x equals 5 over 4. Ta-da! and that's a positive 5 over 4. All right, next we've got x minus, it was 3 over 2. 3 over 2 equals 0. That was a positive. So now I'm going to subtract 3 over 2 from both sides. I have x equals negative 3 over 2. That is my solution. And that is how you do that. So this parabola, this quadratic equation formula, it passes the zeros at x equals 5 over 4, x equals negative 3 over 2. Those are your solutions. So go ahead, finish the maze. It is a grade. Make sure you set it, if it's not already set equal to 0, set it equal to 0. Use this method and make sure you bring it back tomorrow, or maybe I'll probably give you a couple of days to do the maze. Tomorrow I should be back. We are going to go over, completing the square. So we're going to go over that tomorrow. Sorry I couldn't be there today. I should hopefully see you guys tomorrow. Have a awesome rest of your day. Be kind, safe, responsible, and respectful. Bye.